a little bit of an impromptu video. I thought today we could go through some of my WIPs, my work in process pieces that have been on the go for quite some time. I went through them yesterday looking for some projects to continue, and I thought it would be fun to just run through them, chat through them, when I started them, why I stopped doing them, and maybe also go through the inspiration behind them and what they will eventually, hopefully, look like. I mean, probably the main reason for making this video is to just motivate myself to actually finish them. Some of them have been more of a recent project, but some of them have also been in bags waiting to be finished for quite some time. So this is my WIPs basket. This is where I keep everything that has been started and has yet to be finished. I think let's just get straight into it. I'm just going to briefly run through this very first thing because I have spoken about it in my last video, but it is this crochet flower dress which I started a few months ago now, and I had to stop working on it because I thought the yarn that I used for this was discontinued. It turned out it wasn't. I was just being dramatic basically, but I've got all the yarn again, so I can start working on it again. I can finish the sleeve here on this side, and the bottom does need like another couple rows to create some more length. I am a little bit hesitant to continue working on it just because it is so time consuming, and summer is almost over. I sort of anticipated for it to be a beach bikini cover up. I will be going on a holiday to Spain in a couple of weeks, but I am just taking hand luggage and I don't think this is going to fit, so there isn't really that sense of urgency to finish it anytime soon if I'm not going to be able to wear it this year. So I think I'm probably going to prioritize some other projects that I feel a bit more passionate about, and maybe this will be something that isn't going to be finished till next year. Maybe in the new year, in the spring, I'm gonna pick this up again and finish out for summer 2024. Now, in terms of inspiration for this one, I saw this like flower stitch on Pinterest, and I think I had the yarn ready, the cotton yarn, so I thought this would be a really good project to work on. And at the same time, I was working on my other flower crochet vest, so I knew I wasn't going to make a top because that would have been a bit boring, and I thought let's just make a dress instead. It's funny because I must have seen these dresses and these tops on Pinterest before, which inspired me to make this without even realizing, because I definitely didn't look for any inspo pics or any references. I kind of just started it, and then when I made a tutorial for flower design on my TikTok, I found the perfect reference dresses for it. So definitely my subconscious inspired me to create this dress. The next project that is in progress is this crochet dress, which will have an A-line shape and some long sleeves, and it sort of has this like mesh design. I used an Etsy pattern for this. I actually purchased the pattern, and usually when I buy a pattern I don't actually end up using them. I get quite impatient. I did sort of at a certain point kind of disregard it a little bit. I feel like you recognize the pattern and the way it's written and where it's going to go, and I was able to make it a bit more suitable for my body shape. This is actually one of my most recent projects, and the reason why I stopped working on it was because I traveled back home and I was on holiday, and originally I was going to try and finish this for a holiday I went on with my siblings, but I was just really running out of time and it was getting a little bit stressful, and I just thought this shouldn't really be one of my priorities right now. I am keen to finish this hopefully in time for my holiday that I mentioned, but I will have to order some more yarn. If you're wondering, this is the yarn that I am using. It's my favorite cotton yarn to work with. Usually I really sort of struggle or don't really enjoy working with cotton yarn, but this brand is amazing and I can really recommend it. The next project I want to mention is actually cast on just behind me on my knitting machine, and it is going to hopefully be a sort of beach cover-up backless knit dress. This is where I'm currently at. So I've got the body, I've got the front panel, which is just a rectangle, and the back panel, which has got a little dip there, so it's going to be backless. I just need to finish the sleeves. Not quite sure yet how many stitches to cast on for that, so I'm still figuring that out. But yeah, essentially just need to make the sleeves and then attach the sides. You can see I've for now clipped on where it's meant to be sewn together, and then right at the ends I'm going to attach bow right at the back here. That's sort of going to keep the top together because the dress is going to be quite oversized. if there isn't a bow to keep it together, the back is just going to fall off my shoulders. And this project is also inspired by a H&M dress I saw, which is actually on offer now. And it's funny how I think a lot of people will relate. We sort of end up making things by ourselves because we think it's going to be cheaper or you're going to have it quicker, but this is a great example that I could have just bought the H&M dress, but I guess there's no fun in that really. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm so happy with the yarn that I used. I got it secondhand. I have no idea what fibre it is. I can't really figure it out, and it's just so soft and smooth, and I'm really excited to block it properly and steam it properly. I have already steamed the panels so I can get a better idea of how long the piece actually will be, and when I made the back piece, having steamed the front, it was just easier to do the maths, if that makes sense. But yeah, once this is finished and it's had a nice wash and a steam, I think this is going to be so lovely. Another crochet project, which this time has been sitting in my basket for probably a year now, is this scrap yarn jacket, heavily inspired by the Instagram account called Make My GF or something like that. I will obviously insert it if I have gotten the name wrong. But yeah, I used up a ton of scrap yarn. This was at a point where the majority of the yarn that I did have was just scrap yarn, so I thought this project was perfect. However, first of all, this takes so much longer than I anticipated because I did like a knit crochet stitch, which takes a lot longer than doing a normal double crochet or triple crochet or whatever. And I also ran out of scrap yarn, so the majority of the yarn that I used for this was acrylic yarn, which I thought was perfect because this jacket is going to be quite warm and cozy, and acrylic yarn is perfect for that. But I ran out, and I have actually since then stopped working with acrylic yarn. I don't really use it that much anymore, so I'm currently left with just the body, and I haven't got any arms, and I do actually think I would want to extend the sides even more so it's got a baggier oversized fit. So that's why I stopped working on it. I do think there's a way around it. I have in this basket a whole bag full of old granny squares that I frogged from a crochet blanket that I bought in a charity shop. And what I could do is then frog each of those granny squares to then use for this jacket. But that whole process just seems a little bit too time consuming for me at this moment in time. I am obsessed with the designs of this Instagram account, and I think for this coming autumn this would be perfect. It is on my list to finish in the next sort of few months so I can actually wear it. On the granny square topic, I have this. Basically it's a finished piece, but it is in my WIPs because I'm not going to wear it like this and I'm not happy with the design. I must have seen a specific top that was like this on Pinterest somewhere. I made it and it just really does not fit my body shape and it's just a bit awkward. The acrylic yarn didn't really work. I love the colours of these squares. I'm a little bit unsure on what to make with these now. I don't, like I said, have a lot of acrylic yarn left, so I can't really make any more squares for it to be a jumper. I would love to make another jumper with granny squares. It's like my favourite thing to make, but there just isn't enough. So what I think I will be making instead is frog this design and make a sweater vest instead with just the squares. I do think I will have to make a few more, but I don't think it should be too much more. If that won't work, I am a little bit stuck on what to make with it next. I feel like with granny squares there's so many options with what you can make, but for my aesthetic and like the things that I enjoy wearing or enjoy making, I am a little bit more limited. We'll see. But yeah, I have been avoiding dealing with this situation for quite some time. I think this has also been sat in my basket since last year. I just have like a mental block, a creative mental block. So this project I absolutely love, and I have been working on it since Christmas because my brother got me a box full of yarn which had all these amazing colours, and I thought I'd make a scarf with it. I'm not one to usually make scarves or very like traditional sort of pieces, but I don't know, the colours sort of seemed really cute for that. Yeah, I'm knitting this on 4.5 size needles, and and just been working in this striped pattern. I am now almost finished. I just need to finish the green and white, and then I think I have a black and beige, I think, to finish it off, and I'm going to finish that off in the bigger stripe pattern so this will stand out more. I do really love this, and I'm really excited to wear it this winter. I'm certain I will be finishing it by then. It's just that this is probably the most boring design you could ever make, and if you look at the things that I have made before and the things that I tend to make, I don't really do a lot of traditional straightforward knit designs because I get bored really easily, and this is a perfect example for that. Essentially all you're doing is working stockinette for a really long time. I just had to take a break from it. I'm really impressed with how far I've gotten. For a long time this was my project that I would take to work with me because it fit into my bag really nicely and I'd do it on my lunch breaks and stuff, but at this point it's gotten so big that I had to work on it at home, and it's not something that I wanted to work on at home. I'd do something a bit more fun, something that was more complicated that I couldn't take out with me because, you know, I didn't want a bunch of yarn with me, or I didn't want to have to use my brain cells too much when I was out and about. But I'm really keen to wear it this winter, so hopefully within the next few months I will be able to finish it. The next project has been bagged up like this for quite some time. It is inspired by a TikTok video I saw, and the girl made this most amazing gingham checkerboard jumper. I had this yarn which I got secondhand and I thought that would be perfect. However, at that point in time I didn't know how to knit the intarsia. I don't actually know how you say it. I'm going to put it here and fill in the blanks. I essentially didn't know how to knit that, so what I did instead was make panels. So each of these sections is made in stripes, so I'd start with green, beige, green, finish that, and I'd start again, and then I believe, yeah, you can see here, I then attach them. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't look bad, you can't really tell, but it's just been so much more time consuming than if I had made it all in one piece. So I've got the body, I've started on the arms, but I think I just got a bit discouraged with it. Again, for the winter this would be really cute. It's just interesting, you know, I've come a long way since then. I now know how to create that pattern without having to do individual sections, and we learn, we live and we learn. This project I don't actually have any, oh my god. Right, well, I've just realised that there is a hole in this. I wonder whether I snagged it in the basket. I must have snagged it in the basket. Okay. Oh, there's another hole. What has happened? Oh my god, there's another one. Right, this is very concerning. Do we have mice? This looks like it's been, this is fine. This section, this is a different panel. This looks fine, but this is completely ruined. Right, well, this was going to be a project, but not sure what happened to it. The next thing, I'm actually not quite sure what I was thinking when I started making this, but I have a bunch of these sections of knit. I believe my thought process was to make a patchwork jumper by adding all of these together. So it's made with like a mohair blend yarn, and I made these sections on my Sentro. So I believe this must have been at the time when I've just gotten my machine and I wanted to practice. I'm not sure what happened. I'm really struggling to remember what the process was behind this and why I stopped making it. So I am also slightly unsure whether this will be something that I continue or if I just end up frogging these sections and make something else out of it. We will see. This is definitely not a project that is on the top of my priority list at this point because I could not tell you what this is meant to be. Then we have this. I'm pretty sure was going to be a knit vest, and it's currently looking like this. I'm not sure what happened. It probably just didn't fit the way I wanted it to, and I started making something else. I do find this neckline is quite deep. I don't know why I then just didn't add a collar. I think this would be a nice project to pick up when I'm not really in the mood to start a whole new project, because I essentially have everything I need. I've got the main body and I just need to add the little details, which sometimes I do just want to join some seams and join some panels together. So this would be great to pick up for that. This WIP is actually very sad. I would have loved to finish it, but unfortunately I ran out of yarn and I can't get this yarn again. So I made this on my Sentro again. I used this cotton linen blend yarn, and it was going to be a long maxi dress, like a meshy maxi dress. And I started actually by making the back. So this would have been the back with a nice low cutout. And I had enough yarn to make one of the front panels, but I ran out. I have thought about getting a similar yarn and just rolling with the contrast panel idea, but I'm still holding on to the hope that I will eventually find this yarn again. I have looked on eBay, I have looked everywhere, but unfortunately I haven't been able to find it. I do have this yarn, which is somewhat similar, but it's not the same. I think you can tell the difference. It's actually quite strong. So very sad that I haven't been able to finish this. Maybe one day I will be able to, but this was definitely inspired by the green midi dress that I made on my Sentro as well, and I wanted to create something that was a bit more wearable because the green is quite intense, and I really wanted to make a maxi dress. Sadly that did not go to plan. So yeah, these are actually all of my current WIPs. It does always feel like more than what it actually is. I think it is fairly achievable to finish them in the near future, but we will see. I think it is always more fun to just start a new project rather than finish something that you don't feel 100% about. This has been nice to go through and realize that it wouldn't actually take that much work to finish them. Also, if I'm ever in a rut, which does happen sometimes where I don't really feel motivated enough to start a new project, then I have this to fall back on. This did also make me realize that I have a moth problem, or I did have a moth problem, because some things have been eaten by the moths, which I can't believe. I thought this only happens in movies. So I will have to clean out my basket now. I'm going to do that now. So no more projects will be ruined. But thanks so much for watching, and I hope this video was somewhat of a motivation for you to finish your projects as well.